Hey y'all, this is Maggot Wig or Megan. I am doing my first speed build. Um, I love making houses, and I've gotten a lot of people that like my houses as well. So I figured I would do a quick speed build to show you how I make mine. I'm just doing just a normal traditional starter home. It's a little has a little contemporary feel to it, but I really like to do starters. One reason is because they're quick to build, and I'm kind of impatient and enjoy getting it done faster. So this one took me about an hour to do, and then the speed build is about 10 minutes. So yeah, what I usually do is I do the exterior first, and then work on the inside, which is pretty typical for most people. Um, I plan everything around what windows I want to use. I wanted to use that big front window, and so I made sure that my dimensions of the house were able to fit that because I love big front windows of houses. It's one of my favorite things. Brings in a lot of light. And I really liked that planter box with the orange plant. I'm not sure what kind of plant that is, but it's really cool. So had to put that in there. And then I love doing round porches. So I'm doing a little bit of a round porch with a terrace over top of it. Um, right now I'm just building the terrace, and it actually takes me quite a while to figure out how I'm going to do this because sometimes it doesn't work that well, but seem to do okay. Yeah, so this just takes me a while to do that part. And then I'm just doing your traditional roof, nothing like super fancy shaped. I have some houses in the past where I do some pretty unique roofs, but this is just your traditional normal roof. Um, yeah, I didn't really like how it stuck out in the back there, but I liked it in the front, so I had to delete it in the back and put the little peak in the front because I like having those little peaks in there. I think it just adds some character and interest to the house. No, I don't like how that had a flap on partial of it, but not on the other. The little roof overhang. I'm not sure what exactly it's called, but hmm. I love this siding of the house. I love that's one of my favorite things, and I use it in quite a bit of my homes. And with usually with all my houses, I love to do an accent color. This one I've decided to do blue as my just pop of color. And I did it on the other side of the house, that other little stick out window portion. And I wasn't sure if that was just too much blue, so I got rid of that. And I decided, to make this house a little bit cheaper, I never really extend my foundation very large, so it keeps cost on stairs. I don't have to put as much stairs. And then I also don't have to do a fence because they're not going to really fall off because it's just a little tiny ledge, let's be honest. And I love having a seat in the front, a little place to sit, eat, drink some coffee with some flowers. It's just a pretty setting and a pretty place to be and hang out in the mornings or whenever, watching the sunrise. Mm. It took me a while to decide what type of lamp I wanted to put up there. And I had to go with something cheap because this is a starter home, so that's originally why I went with that contemporary one because it was the cheapest one. And of course, my flowers for my terrace up there. I think it's so pretty. I love it. Originally went with the thick little gutters around the roof, but then I'm like, I thought it was a little extreme. So I love the long windows too. I think they're a little more modern, but they bring in a lot of light, which I like. Of course, on occasion I go and save my houses. You'll see random savings every now and then because sometimes I just don't trust my computer all that much not to, just to reboot on me, which, yeah, maybe it's time for a new computer. I don't know. Or just the power going out in my neighborhood. Who knows what happens, but I hate starting over, so I just save on occasion. I always enlarge my my TVs because they're so tiny, but you have to do a cheap TV because this is a starter home. So I just get the small cheap TV and I enlarge it so it looks fancier than it really is. So that's my trick to keeping the cost down, but still making it look pretty fancy. And I think always adding an area rug to an area automatically makes it look more luxurious than it really is. I get the cheapest of everything. Again, this is a starter home, so I go cheap. And if you look down below, you can see how much money I have left right now. I have like $5,000 left. I have a family living in this place now, and that's obviously their budget. So, and of course, they're just the beginning family, and that's kind of how I know how much I am able to spend on this house is once that money runs out, then it's no longer a starter home because you can't really put your starter family in there. That's my backsplash. Took me a while to decide on what kind of backsplash I want. Ultimately went with that one, which I like. Apparently I did not like the color of the cabinets though. So I thought, I don't know, white, it just looked so much cleaner than the brown. And I love like adding, some design to the house as far as wall goes. So I do in a lot of my homes you will see a striped wall, and I just do a barely tinted stripe, so you can they're just very subtle stripes, so it's not like overwhelming. And I think every house needs a bowl of fruit in it. It just looks so pretty. And you also see that I do enlarge my paintings quite often just to take up more space and to keep the cost down. So you're able to take up more space, it looks good, but you're not spending a whole lot of money. Fortunately, I wish I could make the mirrors larger, but every time you do, it just makes the molding larger and not the mirror, which defeats the purpose. Again, with my striped walls, love them. Love a tile in the bathroom. Think every bathroom needs a little rug. I love putting the clocks in there because they're really cheap, but they add a big statement and makes it look really nice. That's also uh, taking a plant that is, a uh, really cheap one and then enlarging it makes a big statement but keeps the cost down so you can still have a beautiful starter home. Took me a while to figure out where I wanted this plant. I'm like, I like this plant. Where do I want to put it? Yeah, I ultimately went by the TV, and you guys can move it wherever you want if you decide this is a house you like. Again, my saving. Well, thank you everyone for joining me on my speed build of my starter home. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, give me a thumbs up. That would be great. And I hope to do another one for you guys here soon. Until then, see you around.